Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the preparation and properties of ethers, that is ROR dash. Before this we have discussed alcohols and phenols preparation and properties. So continuing the same chapter, we'll discuss today ethers. So first is the preparation. For preparation of ethers, there is a two methods. So first is the dehydration of alcohol, which we have already discussed during the chemical properties of alcohols. Okay, so in that we have discussed ki primary alcohol and what is the limitation of this reaction, ki only primary alcohol can form ether at low temperature, that is 413 Kelvin. Why only 1 degree alcohol? Because it is SN2 mechanism. And the tertiary alcohol which forms undergoes for SN1 mechanism and beta elimination, that is E1 mechanism, and so alkene will form. So what are the limitations of this reaction? First is that it is suitable for only primary alcohol at low temperature, and second, by this method only the symmetrical ether can be prepared. So for preparation of unsymmetrical ether, we can follow the Williamson synthesis reaction. So now the second method is Williamson synthesis. This is the method by which we can prepare both type of ether, symmetrical as well as unsymmetrical ether. Okay, what is this reaction? In this reaction, alkyl halide, that is RX, alkyl halide reacts with sodium alkoxide, we can take R dash ONA, in which the sodium alkoxide act as a nucleophile, or we can say this alkoxide ion act as a nucleophile, and hence it is a type of nucleophilic substitution reaction in which this nucleophile attack to the alkyl carbon and eliminate X minus, right? So there is a formation of product is what? R O R dash plus the byproduct is what? NaX. So we get ether by this method, and this R or R dash may be same. If they will be same, that is a symmetrical ether, but if they will be different, that is unsymmetrical ether. Okay, in case of symmetrical ether, there is a no problem, but in case of unsymmetrical ether, which one will be uh, suppose if we are taking this ether is CH3O CS2 CS3. So in case of unsymmetrical ether, which alkyl group will be alhalide and which alkyl group will be alkoxide? So because this ether is formed only by alkyl halide and sodium alkoxide. So if the different alkyl groups are present in case of unsymmetrical ether, so which alkyl will be halide? Whether CS3X or CS3CS2X. Okay. So in this case, always the alkyl halide is taken as a primary alkyl halide and the lower carbon alkyl halide. Okay. Because this Williamson synthesis reaction is SN2 mechanism. This follow SN2 mechanism. And you know SN2 mechanism is favorable for 1 degree alkyl halide and lower number of alkyl halide. Means SN2 mechanism followed for those alkyl halide where is a less steric hindrance, means where is a less number of carbon is present. So what you conclude? Means in this reaction, first, so what are the conditions for Williamson synthesis reaction? The alkyl halide should be primary alkyl halide and that should be lesser number of carbon atom. So what we take, the CS3 will be taken as a halide. Suppose we take Cl and the larger carbon, that is ethyl group, taken as a alkoxide. Okay. So in exam, if suppose the ether is given and identify the halide and alkoxide for formation of this ether by Williamson synthesis reaction. So you can identify the lower carbon always taken as a halide and the higher carbon always taken as a alkoxide. Clear? Okay. So we can say there is a limitation. So what are the limitation of this Williamson synthesis reaction? Tell me fast. Yeah. So the limitation of Williamson synthesis reaction is that the alkyl halide should be 1 degree and lesser carbon atom or lower alkyl group, right? And the alkoxide may be 1 degree, 2 degree or 3 degree. But so when alkyl halide is primary alkyl halide, then we get ether as a major product. Because when alkyl halide is 1 degree and the lower alkyl group, okay, so when it is alkyl is 1 degree, then we get ether as a major product because it undergoes for SN2 mechanism. Okay, and according to SN2 mechanism, there should be less steric hindrance. 1 degree is favorable for SN2 mechanism. But if alkyl halide is tertiary alkyl halide, then in that case, instead of ether, alkene will be formed as a major product because you know the tertiary alkyl halide undergoes for which mechanism? SN1 mechanism due to formation of stable carbocation. Better we can take one example. So due to formation of stable carbocation, it undergoes for SN1 and then E1 mechanism. E1 mechanism means beta elimination. So if the alkyl halide will be tertiary alkyl halide, it forms alkene as a major product due to beta elimination. Better we can see examples so that it will be clear for you. Okay, we can take one example. If suppose this is CH3Cl, alkyl halide is CH3Cl and alkoxide is tertiary alkoxide, then we get what product? Yeah. So in this case, we get ether, that is CH3O, CH3, 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 okay, plus NaCl. So ether form as a major product because in this case, this act as nucleophile. It act as nucleophile and hence it undergoes for what reaction? Nucleophilic substitution reaction because ether formation is a type of nucleophilic substitution reaction in which it is a type of SN2 reaction, right? Okay. So in this case, what happens? Now it is act as a nucleophile. So it attack to this alkyl group and eliminate X. That is formation of this. But if it will be vice versa, so what will happen? If suppose we are taking alkyl halide as a tertiary alkyl halide, now halide is taken as a tertiary and alkoxide we are taking as a primary. Now in this case, we are not getting ether because in this case, this alkoxide now act as a strong base. And due to behave as a strong base, it undergoes for beta elimination reaction. And by beta elimination reaction, always we get alkene. So now when alkyl halide is a tertiary alkyl halide, then in that case, the sodium alkoxide undergoes for sodium alkoxide acts as a strong base and undergoes for beta elimination because of formation of stable carbocation. So what happens in this case? Suppose this is, we can write over here the CS2H. So here loss of HX, that is dehydrohalogenation reaction. And this HCl now react with this CS3 ONA to form NaCl and CS3OH as a byproduct. So what we are getting here, we are not getting ether as a major product. We are getting alkene as a major product. So this is the limitation of formation of ether by Williamson synthesis reaction. So now it is clear. Okay, so what I told, just I sum up in this cloud, what I told. Key this alkoxide, sodium alkoxide behave two character. It may be strong nucleophile. It behave as a strong nucleophile as well as it behave as a strong base also. So when this behave as a, when alkoxide ion behave as a strong nucleophile and undergoes for nucleophilic substitution reaction and forms ether. So when it happens only when it reacts with 1 degree alkyl halide. So when alkoxide reacts with 1 degree alkyl halide, it acts as a strong nucleophile, so undergo for nucleophilic substitution reaction, that is SN2 reaction, and form ether as a major product. But when alkoxide reacts with tertiary alkyl halide, so it acts as a strong base. And when it acts as a strong base, it undergo for it undergoes for beta elimination reaction, and by beta elimination reaction, instead of ether, there is a formation of alkene as a major product. So I think that this concept is clear and it is very, very important concept which you have to keep in your mind, right? Okay. So what I told, this alkoxide behave as a nucleophile or behave as a strong base. It depends whether it is reacting with the alkyl halide, primary alkyl halide or tertiary alkyl halide. Okay. So with primary alkyl halide, it behave as a nucleophile and shows nucleophilic substitution reaction to form ether. But when it is reacting with tertiary, then in spite of nucleophile, it is behaving but as a strong base which undergoes for beta elimination and form alkene. Okay, so this is the limitation of this Williamson synthesis reaction. Clear all of you? Now next, we'll discuss about its properties, Williamson synthesis reaction, and basically we'll discuss about chemical properties. Physical property already we have done. So now what the main physical chemical properties will be shown by the ether. Okay, so main property of ether is the cleavage of ether. Okay, how the ether will cleave, and by cleavage, it will show two type of reaction. First, with HX. Okay, so now ether reacts with HX. When ether reacts with HX, there is a cleavage of the bond. Suppose it is symmetrical ether, so it can be cleaved from any one of the side. And by cleavage of the bond, O gets negative charge, R gets positive charge, and here H is positive, X is negative. So always with oxygen, hydrogen attached, okay, to form alcohol, and with alkyl group always halogen attached to form halide. Means when ether reacts with hydrogen halide to forms alcohol and alkyl halide, right? Alkyl halide, okay? And when excess of HX is added, means 1 mole, if we take 1 mole of HX, then we are getting two products, alcohol and halide. But when we take 2 moles of HX, means excess of HX will be added, then this alcohol further reacts with HX to form RX by loss of water molecule. So it depends. You have to see in the exam with this. Basically, when it is nothing is mentioned, then we have to assume to be 1 mole. But if excess is written, then excess of HX. Then in that case, we get alkyl halide only. Okay. So in case of symmetrical ether, the RO will be cleaved from any one, CO will be cleaved from any one of the side. But if the ether is unsymmetrical, what happens in that case? Okay, better we can take one example. So this is unsymmetrical ether. And when it is treated with HI, better we take example HI. So now the question arises, the cleavage occur from which side? Whether from left side or from right side. Okay. Now you tell, in this case, both alkyls are what? 1 degree. So if both alkyls are 1 degree, then obviously you know which mechanism will be followed. SN2. And SN2 mechanism is always favorable for the lesser carbon atom where is a less steric hindrance. Now you see which side the carbon is less, this side. So cleavage occur from this side because the nucleophile attack to lesser number of carbon. Okay. So now in this case, what product will obtain? CS3I and the heavier carbon convert into alcohol. Again, I am repeating. Okay. When we take unsymmetrical ether, then we have to check the nature of alkyl. If both alkyl groups are 1 degree, then the lesser carbon atom, the cleavage will be occur from this side, and that lesser carbon will be converted into halide and the higher carbon convert into alcohol because cleavage occur from this side due to SN2 mechanism. Better you can see the mechanism, then you can understand very easily. Okay. So what is the mechanism of this reaction if both are 1 degree alkyl? So what is the mechanism? Just I told which mechanism? SN2 mechanism will be followed. So this ether first reacts with, okay, we are giving, ether is treated with what? HCl, HI, suppose HI, you know, it is strong acid. If it is acid, so it acts as a what? Base. All of you know ether behave as a base when treated with strong acid due to presence of lone pair. So what happens? Protonation occur. Okay. So ether first undergoes for protonation reaction with HX to form protonated ether. Okay, to form protonated ether. Okay. And now this protonated ether shows SN2 mechanism. And all of you know what is SN2 mechanism? In SN2 reaction, okay, the H role has been completed. What is left? I minus. Now this I minus, which act as a nucleophile, will attack to which carbon? The lesser carbon side will attack. And you know what is SN2 mechanism? Attacking and breaking both occur simultaneously. And hence what we get? We get as a transition state. This I minus attached with this CS3. So there is a formation of bond and there is a breaking of bond with oxygen. Okay. And formation of what? Transition state. And then after this bond will be completely cleaved. This is called transition state and forms inversion of product, that is ICS3, and the second product, that is alcohol. So this is the reason when both are 1 degree, in that case the lower carbon forms halide and the higher carbon forms alcohol due to mechanism. But if the alkyls are not 1 degree, if one is 1 degree and second is 2 degree or 3 degree, or we can say if one is 1 degree and second is 3 degree, then where is a 3 degree? There is a formation of stable carbocation. Okay, but what is the first step? Again, the same thing, because HX is a very strong acid, HI is a very strong acid. So ether behave as a what? Base. So what occur here? Protonation. The first is protonation. Now it is the protonation reaction to form protonated ether. Okay, so there is a formation of this protonated ether. I minus will be lost over there. Okay, which act as a nucleophile. Okay, so now here the steps start, because you know in this case SN1 mechanism will be followed, and SN1 mechanism occur in two steps. What is the first step? The first step is the reversible and slow. So now this protonated alcohol, sorry, ether. So this is protonated ether. In first step, this protonated ether undergoes for cleavage. That will be slow and reversible, all of you know. And there is a cleavage of this bond. So no, now oxygen is carrying positive charge. So bond will be cleaved from this side. And so this carbon get positive charge and form stable tertiary carbocation. And what is the other product? CS3OH. So there is formation of tertiary carbocation, and you know now this tertiary carbocation in second step, according to what is the SN1 mechanism. First step, there is a formation of stable carbocation by cleavage of the bond, and second step, in which at this carbocation, the nucleophile, that is I minus, attack to this carbocation either from right side or from left side, which you know this is a fast step to form retention and inversion of product, that is a racemic mixture. Okay, but it is unsymmetrical carbons, we get this. So this is the reason कि when alkyl groups are 1 degree and 3 degree, in that case 1 degree or 3 degree, in this case the tertiary is converted to halide, that you can see over here, and the primary convert into what? Alcohol. So remember this thing. While in case of 1 degree, the shorter carbon convert into halide and the larger carbon convert into alcohol. Due to mechanism only. Which mechanism is followed over there? SN1 mechanism. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, but if suppose we take aromatic ether, that is anisole. So what we get the product when anisole treated with HI, what product will form over here? So in this case, always the cleavage occur from which side? Only from alkyl side, from this side only, okay? Not from this side, not from this side. Why from this side? Just a minute. I will write separately. The cleavage occur only from this side. So always the alkyl, that means whatever the alkyl, that is CS3, that alkyl always form halide, and aromatic always convert into phenol. So in this case, we get phenol plus CS3I. Why not happen vice versa? What is the reason? Yeah, The cleavage occur from CS3O side only, but cleavage is not from this side. This is a wrong method. No reaction occur because you know why this cleavage is not possible due to partial double bond character. And why partial double bond character? Because of resonance, correct. So because of partial double bond character due to resonance, the cleavage is not possible. Okay, clear? Okay, if we take, Acha, you tell me how this anisole prepared by Williamson synthesis reaction. Okay, when we are discussing about Williamson synthesis reaction, anybody can tell how it is possible? Okay, here we have just discussed, okay, Williamson synthesis reaction. This is the limitation. Okay, so during limitation, we have just discussed this thing. But can you tell me how, but I can discuss here only, this page only. If I ask how anisole prepared by Williamson synthesis reaction, write the reactants of formation of anisole by Williamson reaction. What you'll say? One is halide and another is alkoxide, ONA. You tell me which one will be taken as halide. Of course, always the alkyl will be taken as a halide and the phenol benzene, that means sodium phenoxide. Vice versa, again not possible because if we'll take or we can tell if vice versa, this aryl halide plus sodium, this is reaction possible? No. Again same thing, because of partial double bond character, it does not undergo for nucleophilic substitution reaction. So preparation of anisole also, always alkyl halide reacts with sodium phenoxide to form aromatic ether. Clear? So you can see so many examples. Okay. So the next property, that is what? Second property is electrophilic substitution reaction. And whenever we tell about this term, always it comes in mind, this is a reaction for aromatic compound. So ether, in ether, which one is aromatic ether? That anisole, or we can say OR, or any alkoxybenzene, and R can be taken as a CS3 also. All of you know this aromatic ether, that is alkoxybenzene, shows which resonance? Plus R effect, right? And due to plus R effect, it is this directing group. It is ortho-para directing group. Okay. So electrophilic substitution reaction occur at aromatic ether, in which it shows plus R effect and ortho-para directing group, and it is activating in nature. Okay. So when we discuss about the reaction of electrophilic substitution reaction, we know what are the types of electrophilic substitution reaction. Yeah, what are the types? Suppose we take CS3. So now you can write all 5 resonating structure. I have just shown 2 like this negative charge delocalized to para, then again ortho, and then again come to the neutral. So 5 resonance formed. Now this is the aromatic ether, that is anisole, which undergoes for electrophilic substitution reaction like what? Or better I can discuss in the next page so that all reaction will come over there all together. Okay, now you can see in the next page. Okay. So when we discuss about this ether, I'm just writing in the center so that all reaction will be written over there. So this is aromatic ether, that is anisole. Okay, it will show halogenation, nitration, Friedel-Crafts alkylation, and Friedel-Crafts acylation. Even sulfonation also possible. Okay. So we write over here. So, okay, first I'm writing the halogenation. That is what? Halogenation in the presence of, suppose, Cl2 and anhydrous AlCl3. What we get? The product, ortho and para product. Okay. OCH3 and Cl, para product as a meso product. I'm just writing the meso product only. Okay, so this is the halogenation reaction. Second, okay, second I'm writing over here. This is third. Second, if I write nitration reaction, so what reagent required? Concentrated HNO3 and concentrated sulfuric acid. And what product we obtain? Nitro anisole, and this nitro group will be attached to orthonitroanisole, which is a minor product, and second product which we get, that is paranitroanisole, which is a major product. Okay, so now this is a second reaction. When we come for the third reaction, now see the third reaction, Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Okay, in Friedel-Crafts alkylation, what reagent will be used over there? You can write, suppose we take alkyl halide, that is CS3Cl, in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. So what product will obtain? Well, again, we get the two product, ortho and para. Now I'm writing only the meso product, that is para product. So we get paramethyl anisole. Similarly, if we go for Friedel-Crafts acylation, in which what reagent we take? Acyl halide, that is CS3COCl, in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. So what product we obtain? Again same, ortho and para. I am writing only the meso product, that is para-acetophenone, or we can say paramethoxy acetophenone or 4-methoxy acetophenone. Okay, so you can write the name of each product. Okay, this was just a little bit typical for you, that's I've written. So what are the reaction? First is halogenation, second is nitration, third is Friedel-Crafts alkylation, and Friedel-Crafts acylation. So these are the basic reaction of what? Electrophilic substitution reaction for any aromatic compound, that is for anisole. Clear? Sulfonation also you can write. Okay. So now thank you so much. So chapter is completed. Few questions and conversion which we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, revise it. Then we'll discuss the conversion.